Hey LeGrand Alive! Welcome to Coffee with Will, brought to you by Grand Ron Hospital, Anything to Digital, EONI, Les Schwab, and Northwest Furniture and Mattress. And I'm here today with Paul Swigert, who is the lead associate at Country Financial on Adams Avenue. And he's here today to talk to me a little bit about insurance and his passion for helping people with a little bit of a twinge of fitness and achievement talk to boot. So thank you so much, Paul, for coming in and chatting with me here today. So why don't you first of all tell me, now you have been around for a little while, but you weren't always in the insurance business. Something that's interesting about you is you had your start here in LeGrand at Les Schwab Tires, who's one of our sponsors, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
So how did you go from being a worker at Les Schwab to owning your own Country Financial business on the strip of Adams Avenue? It's kind of an interesting story.
Yeah, kind of an interesting story, I guess. Basically, I worked there for almost 4 years, and they wanted to put me on the management list. And I went to a couple of classes, and in those classes they said, I think it was 70 or 80% of the people in this classroom are going to end up in Utah or California. That was their focus.
Yeah.
And I didn't like Utah or California. I mean, nothing against Utah, but
yeah.
I didn't want to move.
Yeah.
And so I started, exploring my options, and this was one of them. And I took it and ran with it. So.
Wow. Yeah. No. And then, from what I understand, you started at Country Financial sort of on the ground level, and then you worked your way up to actually owning the place, right?
Yep.
And then you've recently relocated from your original location on Adams Avenue just a couple blocks down the street to the Adams Avenue Strip, right? Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
So, excuse me, pardon the ask, but why make the decision to migrate 3 blocks? Go through the whole process of putting so much work into a new building when you literally were, like I said, 3 blocks away? What was the impetus behind that?
Well, I was renting where I was at, and that's pretty much 100% of the reason for moving. So I wanted to, that's the next step, is to be a building owner, and that's better for the long term.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now let's talk a little bit about insurance. So, insurance is something that, a lot of people, actually, let's not talk about insurance yet. Let's talk about your other thing, which kind of ties in a little bit more with kind of what we were talking about. Now, something that I think is very interesting about you is you're a business owner, but you're also very into CrossFit. And, and something personally, being a runner, I know that a lot of times my exercise goals of achievement and my desires in business sometimes coincide.
Yeah.
But sometimes they also don't. Sometimes I have to take my runner brain and kind of say, okay, maybe this isn't the right time to go for the highest achievement. Maybe I have to think about things in a little bit more of a holistic way, like maybe interacting with a coworker or something like that. How do you kind of balance those things?
It's kind of weird because I use CrossFit a lot of times to recharge the batteries or shut my business mindset off and work out. But they're real similar in the fact that, with CrossFit, everything is a competition, whether you're competing against yourself or, the other people. And work is the same way. You're competing both against yourself and your numbers and other agents across the state. But no, it's weird because it's I definitely use it as a battery recharge, force my mind to shut down from work and work out. So it's nice to be able to do that, because you got to keep your sanity. So.
Yeah. Now, that kind of brings up sort of an interesting question. Business kind of has always had a very sort of competitive element to it, but at the same time, when you're working in the small business world, there's also sort of a level of camaraderie, where
definitely.
You're on the Adams Avenue Strip, you're working with people to achieve, I don't know, whatever that thing might be, a good Adams Avenue like atmosphere, sort of a spirit of camaraderie, like whatever that is. How do you kind of balance between competing with other businesses and working with them to kind of towards shared goals?
Oh yeah, definitely. So we work with realtors, we work with lenders, and a lot of times you got to work with the competition too. Whether we're taking somebody from somebody, or vice versa. You want to be kosher and nice, and just know that you're somebody that's good to deal with and easy to deal with. If not, you won't be getting business. So it's a really, especially in a small town, you can't be rude or I don't know, it'll follow you.
So there's a little bit of a level of like of reputation that kind of comes into it.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Very cool, very cool. So, that being said, like, what is your passion for working? Because you obviously want to be on the Adams Avenue Strip.
Yep.
I mean,
that's important to me.
Why is that important to you?
Well, it's the main drag. I mean, that's where business is. You want to be in front of everybody driving by, or when somebody does business, face to face. I think it's downtown, wherever it's at. So
very cool.
Just natural.
All right. So now let's kind of talk a little bit about insurance. Now, in our last interview, you kind of talked a little bit about your passion for helping people through insurance. You said you were a people person, and contrary to what it might seem like with Grand Alive, I'm also a people person. I enjoy people. So tell me a little bit about that passion, and how does that work itself out in your business?
Well, people is what, my business is built on clients. I don't sell tires anymore. I don't sell really an attainable thing, an object, a thing. Yeah. So I'm selling to people, and people and clients are what my business is about. So I have to be passionate about that. So I can't tick everybody off and expect to be able to turn lights on next month, because I'd be losing business. But I'm pretty passionate about taking care of people, because it all comes around. Referrals are my number one source of business. So
I just had a specific question. Yeah. Oh yeah. So taking care of people. Insurance is one of those things that right now is getting more and more expensive. It's kind of becoming sort of a really central part of our life. How do you kind of try to take care of people specifically in the insurance realm, when this is kind of a tough and confusing world to navigate?
Yep. Well, I try to point out everybody's taking rate increases. There's different companies. I mean, everybody has lost money from the horrible winters we've had to auto accidents. People are much more sue happy now. So in an auto accident, fender bender that would have been $2,000-$3,000 bumper claim, now somebody's got whiplash at is exponentially more. And being mutual companies, everybody pays for it. So basically, the best thing to do is find somebody you trust, have them look at your stuff. Whether you're better or worse on price, at least you can point out different coverage shortfalls or where they're actually covered well.
So there's kind of a level of do you feel like that the insurance world has changed? Is that
Oh yeah, it's a big moving target for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
How would you say that it's kind of changed over the years?
Well, yeah, not only so on the IT side, it's definitely changing. My office specifically, everything's run off the internet now. We don't have a phone line anymore. Everything is internet. They've shifted. All the underwriters are in one location. I mean, it's a different world. So. And
how does that and that actually is kind of an interesting point, because people around here, especially a lot of the people who are a little older, they're not super tech savvy. They're not kind of they're not overly involved with technology, and that might make it even more difficult for them to interact on an insurance level.
Yep, definitely. At one point, so we have phones. We don't have phone lines. It's all internet phones. Oh. Yeah. So no, we definitely get phone calls. So,
I was like, man, you guys are progressive. Everything's done online.
Yeah. No, it's we still have phone calls. So,
very cool.
Yeah, phone's ringing off the hook. So. Yeah.
So that kind of brings me to my final question, which is or sort of my final direction is that I always try and leave this show with sort of a practical thing, something that someone can kind of take away from it. What are a couple tips that you could give to someone who might be watching about how to navigate the ever more complex world of insurance?
Yep. Yeah. Well, that question kind of sums up why I have a job and other agents. Why they're still agents. There's a company called Esurance. There's a couple online companies.
Yeah.
They're not great because people go on there and they look at the bottom line and that's it. After you've been around for a while, you see liability claims being paid out. You see how things are paid out in the shortfalls that somebody might have if they select a bad product or a bad policy. And you got to find an agent that you trust and that you can relate to, and that you can, like I said, trust. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So to go through your coverages.
Well, it does. I mean, it sounds like trust is a really big thing in the insurance industry because, I mean,
they don't know what they're doing. That's why they come to me. They say, hey, this is what I've got. Cover it for me, and at time of claim, there should be coverage there for that. So
yeah, I mean, and that's kind of brings up a little bit of a point in regards to just insurance in general. I mean, these health, auto, life. I mean, these are really big things for people, and they're very important. And so there's almost a level of where there has to be more of a trust relationship with someone that you're handing those things to than if I'm going to go out and buy, I don't know, something really like a new water bottle or like a new I don't know, like a new pair of sandals. Like if my sandals fail, maybe I have ripped sandals and I have to walk around without a shoe for a half an hour. But if my insurance fails me, I mean, we're talking millions of dollars potential that is really going to hurt you.
Yep, exactly. Follow you for the rest of your life potentially.
Is there a sort of level? I mean, do you feel sort of like a level of responsibility to take care of people?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's my job. Is to make sure people are taken care of. And so I'll get somebody else's deck pages from another company and say, hey, you've got 100,000 liability here. We ran across one just today, 100,000 liability. It's like it's just not enough anymore,
That's not enough? Like that's a low number?
That's a low number for liability on a homeowners. Yeah, I mean, liability will cover your backside in a liability claim. And how often do you see a claim for $100,000 when it's worth, filing a claim over? So
wow.
So that's medical bills. I mean, shoot, a life flight alone is can be $60,000.
Yeah.
So if you're negligent at somebody's house, or they're at your place and they have something that happens to them and it requires a life flight, there's $60,000 right there. That's over half of $100,000.
Wow. Yeah.
And then that doesn't even, the doctor hasn't even looked at them yet. So
that's nuts. So here's an interesting question for you. Do you think it's possible for someone to live in the modern world without insurance?
No, it's weird. So if I'm thinking of a couple of people in mind that I don't know, but very wealthy people typically have bigger targets on their back. They're the ones that could probably self-insure. But it's cheaper to them to have the insurance to protect the assets they've made. So, and then on the flip side, somebody that doesn't have a lot of assets, so they run over somebody's kid and the parents sue and they don't have insurance, they're destroyed. So it goes both ways. You could have a lot of money and say, oh, that guy doesn't need insurance. Well, if that guy runs over my kid, he's going to get sued.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's got money to cover it. So, and on the flip side, like I said, the one that doesn't, if they don't have insurance, don't have assets, then it's just going to follow them forever. So then there's everybody that's in between.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're kind of running out of time here, but thank you so much for coming in and chatting with me, Paul. I kind of interrupted you. Is there any other tips that you would give to Grand Alive about navigating the ever tricky world of insurance?
Other than come see me. That's it. That would be the easiest.
There we go. Yep. Get an agent. Get someone who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Paul. I really appreciate
Thanks,
you coming and chatting, and thank you, Grand Alive, for tuning in to Coffee with Will, brought to you by Grand Ron Hospital, Anything to Digital, EONI, Les Schwab Tire Center, and I think that's the end of them. So this has been Coffee with Will. Tune in next time and tune into Grand Alive for more local content. I'm Will Bowman.